As we're all aware, the pandemic has put a massive hold on who and to what extent we can see one another, and with the elderly being more vulnerable, many of us have been unable to see our older relatives that live outside of our own households. Recently you might have found yourself wondering, how could I spread a little bit of joy in these dark and gloomy days? Hi everyone, my name's Ollie and I'm here today to talk to you about an ancient act that has since been forgotten about, the act of handwritten cards and letters. Handwritten cards and letters are one of the oldest forms of communication and are used for an array of different purposes, from birthday cards and love letters to that sometimes dreaded student finance entitlement letter. They convey information whilst remaining direct and discreet. But why write to your family when you could just give Uncle Paul a ring or send Granny Pat a text? And yes, you very much could. But finding that quirky little card in Flying Tiger and sitting down with a pen to write on it is such a delightful experience. It reminds your loved ones that you're still here and that you're doing well, you're thinking of them, and that even though you aren't able to see them right now, you're still looking forward to that day that you can. And cards are especially useful if you're not so good with phone calls or if you don't really reply to text that often. I myself am someone that's not really confident over the phone, and I feel like texts don't really quite hit the mark. So sitting down to write a letter, especially to someone like my gran, who I didn't really get to see that much during the first lockdown, was quite a heartwarming experience. I wrote about what I was up to, how the amaryllis was doing that she got me for Christmas, and what baking I'd be doing. Loads of things that just came to me in that moment as I was writing this card to her. But most importantly, I made sure to check up on her. I asked her how she was doing and was asking what she was getting up to during her time in isolation. It's always worthwhile to check up on your family and friends, especially in these periods of isolation where we don't really know when we'll be seeing each other next. Once I'd finished writing the letter, I slapped a stamp on the envelope and popped it in the post box just around the corner from my house. A week or so later, I got a card back in the post. Now we all know that feeling when you get something in the post. It's a nice little surprise. But when it's a card from someone like your gran, that feeling's only intensified. Reading that she'd been doing well and had been digging up a store in her garden only made that experience that much better. And it only excited me for when I'd next be able to see or hear from her. And we carried on writing to one another for the next following months, and we still do now. It's been one of those things that sort of helped us develop our relationship. I've even been putting the cards up around my room and using them as decoration. It's something that's nice to look back on and reflect on in times where you may not be feeling so well. So what can you take from this video? Check up on your family and friends, write them a card or a letter and just see how they're doing. Let them know what you've been up to and give them some ideas as to what they can do during their time in lockdown. You never know how happy it might make them to hear from you out of the blue. That's all from me today, so don't forget to like and subscribe down below, and make sure to head over to UOL Student Life on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok and Twitter for more content made by students for the students.